Looking at this SLV chart of silver, that's going to point out some real simple common sense things, and just something that people are losing sight of when they're looking at this stuff every day on a daily basis, and where's it going, and all the rumors back and forth. And there's some crazy rumors out there too. I'm not going to mention bother with that, but obviously when we had the so-called breakout, in August 2010, at the end of August, silver was about 18. Then it went up. Well, we had the margin increases, right? Then here we had a little dip over here in February. But basically what's been going on is every time this thing's been slammed down, it's a margin increase here. There was 5 of them over here, 3 of them like in a week, then 2 more. Then another margin increase over here, but timed with Bernanke's announcements about expecting to do more QE, and instead he wasn't. Also the euro scare. So I mean, this is a chart in dollars. It's another thing too. I mean, when you're looking at these charts, sometimes I think you ought to put them over like several currencies, because it would be more realistic of what's going on in silver, because this is strictly in the dollar itself. It's like today, you look at silver's up, well, 3%. Palladium took a big jump back up, which kind of expected, because actually I was wrong about something I said. They did raise margins on this, but even though the margin percentages are much lower than silver, it affected their price by about 20%, and it's just a month of September. But look, the dollar is down $1.15. So when you're seeing a move of silver up in 1.69%, that's pretty much just accounting for the dollar. That's a move up in gold. Silver, it's more than a move up in a dollar. But sometimes probably should correlate, if you're really going to do an analysis on what's going on in these metals markets, it should be over several currencies, not over one currency. But just want to point out again, this thing is in a serious bull market. It's all these margin increases that's really slamming down these the market. And also, this didn't increase as much because QE ran out. Well, let me tell you this, QE is going to happen again, and I'm going to tell you, I don't buy this rumor. I don't know, maybe the euro is going to fall at one point in time, but I think they're going to go all out in trying to save the euro, period. The euro was put together by, I'll call them the elite, okay? They're not going to give it up, period. They're not going to give it up. I don't know if Greece is going to be able to stay in it or what. They're not going to give it up. They're going to go all out to save it. So that means more and more, they're going to prop up the banks, which means they're going to put more and more fiat currency out there to prop up the banks. It's one way to alleviate debt. So the metals and all resources, like agriculture, is going to go up too. It's not just going to be silver. But I want to point out one thing about silver. And I know I look like all these new uses and everything that come out with it, but a metal gets new uses because it's cheap. In other words, if you could substitute silver for platinum, you're going to do that. You're going to use that in a catalytic converter. You're going to use it in these RFID tags and everything like that. Now, if all of a sudden platinum became, it's not going to, because it's 30 times rarer than gold, but say platinum was $50 an ounce or something like that, they'd be using platinum left and right. The thing is, what's going to happen with silver, it's going to be a panic bubble. I don't think the price is going to stay super, super high, because I think there's a lot more silver out there than people think. It's sitting in the soil in the magnetite ore. There might be like 1 ounce or 9/10 of 1 ounce per ton, but they got these machines that can process tons and tons of ore. And I don't know if these numbers are BS, but they tell me, I think they are BS, but they're telling me like $90 a ton to process, metals and ore, and you get platinum out of it, gold, palladium, silver, and then you get the magnetite ore itself. I mean, there's a lot of that in this country. So if the silver went up to several $100s an ounce, guarantee you there's going to be a lot of miners online digging this stuff up. And I think where it's going to go into that kind of price is because of not so much the inherent worth of it, but you're going to see everything going up that people use, including energy and in food. So I think silver and gold are probably going to be the two things that are going to go up more than anything. But it's going to price itself out of the market eventually, because they're going to find alternative uses for it at this price. They're going to find alternatives to silver, whether they say there's no alternatives or not. Somebody will find them. I want to go over a little bit about this Jesse Livermore, and I read his book, and it was good, to tell you the truth. Reminiscence of a Stockbroker. It supposedly was penned by somebody else, but then it was revealed that Jesse Livermore actually was the guy behind it, the guiding force behind it. He didn't actually write it per se, but everything in it was from Jesse Livermore originally. But this guy, how did he wind up? Suicide. 1940, November 28th, did it in a public place, in a cloakroom in New York, right in Manhattan, in the Sherry Netherland Hotel. And he wrote a suicide note to his wife, you know. And actually what happened is, this guy, he didn't lose his money in 1929. He made a lot of money. He was worth over $100 million after short selling in 1929. And sometime between 1929 and 1934, he lost all his money. I don't know what he did, but he didn't lose all of it, because like when he had trust set aside, untouchable trust and cash assets. At the time of his death was $5 million. But you know, it gives you a little lesson about I don't know. I guess he's a trader and he decided to commit suicide and cut his losses, right? Who the hell knows, right? But you know, some of these people about get rich, and president of the largest steel company, president of the largest gas company in 1923, president of the New York Stock Exchange, greatest wheat speculator, president of the International Settlements, wheat bearer. What happened to all these guys, right? The president of the largest steel company, Charles Schwab, died a pauper. President of the largest gas company, Edward Hobson, went insane. The president of New York Stock Exchange, Richard Whitney, was released from prison to die at home. The greatest wheat speculator, Arthur Cooper, died abroad penniless. The president of the Bank of International Settlements shot himself. Yeah, the guy today is in there ought to shoot himself to be alright. The great bear of Wall Street, Jesse Livermore. I think they're talking about Jesse Livermore. I don't know. Maybe that his name wasn't Jesse, but also committed suicide. So, however, in the same year, 1923, PGA champion and winner of the most important golf tournament, the U.S. Open, was Gene Sarazen. What became of him? He played golf until he was 92. Died in 1999 at the age of 95. He was finally financially secure at the time of his death. The moral of the story: screw work, play golf. You'll live longer and be better off in the end. That's cute, right? Anyway, this is a interesting thing that's on Levitt Brothers. I'll post a link about, in case you want to go through the whole book. And by the way, actually, I'll say it. You know, you can get Reminiscence of a Stockbroker off at piratebay.org, right? That's, you know, I bought the book, but then I like to read the PDF online. Anyway, but this has a lot of different things about Jesse Livermore that, you know, various sayings, and it's interesting because, you know, it gives you this basically would be like the 9-page cliff notes of the entire book. You know, it's saying common sense things. It's not what people actually did in the stock. It's what actually people did in the stock market that counts, not what they say they're going to do. And you know, there's a lot of BS out there. And you always have to examine why you lost, and you don't like revisiting that, but you have to do that to make sure you didn't do the same mistake again. And just keep things under a manageable level. You don't have too many things going on at once, trying to juggle too many balls. Don't try to play the whole market all the time, because it's too much on you going up and down. When you're unsure, you stay in cash because you don't know what the heck's going to happen. If you're really unsure, you have to use specific, clear, and tested rules. And obviously, you know, with all this advice, somehow this guy screwed up, because either he was too addicted to it or what. I have no idea. But I want to point out about this thing. I think one thing that's going to drive this up, you're going to see QE3, definitely. And they're not going to let the euro fall. And I'm not so sure about this rumor about the stocks going down in October. I'm not 100% sure about that, to tell you the truth. I know what they say. He's got all these put options out there. I don't know. There's too many freaking rumors back and forth, and I don't buy into all this bullshit. And I don't know if that's going to affect gold and silver. And I'm not even sure if it's going to affect even the other commodities, because I just can't see them running into the euro and dollar. I think there's going to be some brains out there going into essential things. And essentials are what's going to keep driving up and up and up as they devalue the currency. It's just common sense. But as far as this SOV, this curve up here, where you're seeing this kind of uptrend, when it's going from doubling basically in a matter of a few months, I think that's what's going to happen to silver by the end of the quarter. You're going to see this thing probably shoot up to about $75 an ounce, and I think they're running out of little things they could do to drive it down with these rate hikes on the margins. We're just going to have to let it go, and that's what's going to happen. But I want to point out something else. People are really happy when the silver goes up in what? Dollars, right? What do you really spend? Well, I mean, you want to get real here. You really don't spend silver. You spend dollars. What you're doing here is you're protecting the value of the dollar itself, and that's really what's going on. I think this might turn into a speculative bubble where there's going to be a panic and it's going to go too high. That's going to be worth more than it actually is. I don't buy the case. I know silver is getting pretty rare, but I mean, if it goes up to some price like $300, $400, $500, or $1,000, if it was $1,000 an ounce, don't worry about the EPA, the Bureau of Land Management, or anything like that. They'll be digging this stuff out of the ground left and right. You'll see people going there with shovels sifting through a ton of soil looking for $1,000 for 1 ounce. I mean, they would find the stuff. So, in today's dollars, the only way this thing is going to go up to like $1,000 an ounce is if they inflate the heck out of the currency. And that's something I don't think is going to happen, because you know what I think they're going to do? They're going to default. They're going to say, screw you, China, you're done. You ain't getting nothing. They're not going to inflate their way out of the debt. They're going to default. Anybody holding the stuff, the debt, they're screwed. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I don't think the currency is going to get inflated up to nothing. They're just going to default, and that'll be the end of it.